Session 2, we're going to look at data sharing models. I'm going to speak very loudly so perhaps the people in the hallway can come and sit down. Design, best practices, and lessons learned. Our chair for this session is Jeff Nye. Jeff is a vice president and global head of neuroscience external innovation at Janssen Pharmaceutical Companies of Johnson & Johnson, essentially responsible for the strategy and implementation of external R&D in the neurosciences. So Jeff, take it away.
Thank you very much. It's an honor and a privilege to participate in this workshop and to have the opportunity to work with such a fine and distinguished panel of organizers and also of speakers. As you've heard today, and I hope you're as inspired as I have been, a key principle that we heard about was that clinical data is a public good. And we heard that from several of the speakers, and I thank them for expressing their vision. It affects many stakeholders, and we began to see about all of those stakeholders. The patients, subjects, participants are a key group, and we heard about that in the discussion. The researchers from academics who have a different vested stake in it, but their point of view is, of course, of considerable interest because they need to be motivated culturally and otherwise, as well as pharmaceutical companies, and we talked about people who are doing tertiary analyses or meta-analyses of the study data as well, and citizen scientists who may be eventually perusing databases on the web and learning new things that could be of some importance. So this is really a common interest with multiple stakeholders. We heard about companies moving forward to advance more transparency and openness, and the issues around public trust of companies, which are important issues that I think will come out and be important. I want to emphasize two parties that were sort of not mentioned. One is the regulatory view, which I think is an important consideration, recognizing that the regulators have an objective to provide for the public health and to guide and advise companies as they develop new products, and as well as to regulate clinical trials done by anyone. And also economic development, and a quotation from Patrick Kennedy, who we work with in the One Mind for Research campaign, is that there's no better economic development than to find solutions for healthcare problems. So it becomes a stake of the entire economic system to recognize and to improve on clinical medicine so that we don't waste money on bad treatments, so that we don't have patients having devastating outcomes from untreated illnesses. So I want to thank the prior speakers for their excellent vision, which I think we all heard and significantly appreciated. This session is an attempt to dig more deeply into all of the issues that I think were raised in the prior session. We're going to talk about some existing data sharing models from two perspectives. One is those that provide more access and visibility to data, which is somewhat distinct than those that provide pooling and analysis of the data. So we've divided this roughly up into two parts for this next session so that we can focus on it. The third part then will be a series of brief presentations where we can really get into the analysis of some of the true challenges from the legal perspective, from the methodology perspective, and to go deeper into the cultural perspective. And then we have a moderated discussion from Sally Oken. So moving forward, first I'd like to introduce Deborah Zarin, who you already heard about, is the director of the clinicaltrials.gov initiative, and I think she was introduced. So without further ado, let me introduce her now.